when we talk about like content that's converting or not converting, or like, how do I write it this month? Am I consistent in my message? Am I not consistent? Like, consistency in terms of what feels really right for your defined or undefined throat is really because I 100% believe the way you've been taught to write content that converts was never designed for you in the first place. I feel like that's exactly what we've just been saying here. And I know that over the past 2 years of like really doing this full time with hundreds of clients, I really started to realize that there was essentially a formula based on your design, like a formula that works for every person's design. And it came down to three sort of components here. So the niche factor, which is kind of what we were just talking about, right? With like, yeah, can I niche down further? Absolutely. I think we all have an opportunity to like dial in on who that person is. And you've likely heard it 100 times, like, dial in your niche, know your niche, know your niche. And every time you try to, something's like, ooh, but do I really want to? Because what if I exclude someone who could actually afford to pay me or could actually work with me? So niching in a way that still feels very supportive to you versus like, I'm just going to go so broad because if I go really broad, then I'm going to like cast a wider net. And then the next piece is the message factor. So this is where I tend to see like content that sounds really nice. And granted, like I will be the first to say my content used to be written this way too. And really when I started to see this messaging shift is when I started to see more people connecting with my content, reaching out, sending DMs. And it's really like having your audience read your content, and rather than saying like, oh, that's really nice, like, okay, that sounds cool, replacing it with content that makes your niche say, oh my gosh, how did she know? Like, how did she know? Was she in my head? It feels like content that was written exactly for her and then reaches out because of that. And then the final piece of this formula that I really see too is obviously the design factor. I feel like the design factor actually really wraps around all of this because this is the piece that makes the other two feel so natural instead of really forced. So your human design, like we've just been talking about, is going to tell you exactly how you're wired to communicate, which means instead of, borrowing Amy Porterfield's formula or content style, you have that permission to do it in your way. And when you do it in your way, it stops feeling like, oh my gosh, now I have to create content, right? So this, I'm really, really excited because I feel like everything the whole group just shared is the content conversion formula. So it's live taught by me. It's going to be a 2-month program designed around those three components we just walked through: your niche, your messaging, your human design, and everything's recorded. So if you need to come back, no problem. Real questions answered in real time. Quite honestly, I think this is the only time I'm going to teach this live, and I'm going to record it and then put it up for an on-demand course. So if you want like me in your business, eyeballs on it, like going through all of this together, this quite honestly might be the only time that I do it this way. Then the other piece that I'm really excited about, and I was sharing this with Wendy with an I yesterday, this is only happening next month. So again, you get to do this live with me, and we will build out your personal AI and human design messaging toolkit together. So how are you designed to communicate and be able to upload that into any one of your AI platforms and have it actually write content that feels like, oh my God, this is me. Like I didn't even have to edit hardly anything because this is me. So we will build that together in the month of July. And then we'll do a step-by-step walk through and like deep dive into, again, niching, messaging, and your human design. And then a room full of women who are building their businesses right alongside of you in the most aligned way possible. So the early bird offer here is $197, which is quite honestly like, I kid you not, yesterday I was working with Claude on some of this like slide content here, and Claude was like, do you really think it should be that price? I'm like, yes, it needs to be.
Don't you love it when your AI is questioning you?
Right? Usually AI won't do that, right? Like usually
Oh,
AI won't question you. I'll be like, yeah, that's a great idea. I've trained my Claude to push back on me on certain things, and right, then we have this go back and forth. And that's what I really see with this AI toolkit and human design toolkit, is that you can give it to your AI of choice and it will be how you are designed to write, create content, all of that. So $197 for the content conversion formula, which will be taught in August and September live. And then the AI and HD messaging toolkit, will build it together live here in July, in like a week, essentially. And then you get 1 month free inside of the Aligned Success Collective as well. So $197 to have your messaging and your marketing feel like, oh, okay, I'm ready for this. And say like 95% certain I will not be teaching this live again. So if you want me in your business, eyeballs on it, $197 is like, holy shit. Sometimes I can't believe I'm offering it at that price point, but it feels really good to me to know that you're going to walk away with messaging that feels so aligned, because I know that's where so many of my clients tend to have the most struggle. And I want it to feel like, oh, I'm excited to like go write my content, to be out there, to be sharing the message, to give voice to you and your business.